British
British
Ghostbusters be
be like.
like.
Right, what's all this then? My local Greg's is haunted by the ghost of the old sausage rolls. Oh,
Oh,
how
the
can I
ghost
load up the
slime is in
plate
the sewers, isn't
now?
it? This is just a peachy little situation we're in.
Oh, me local lollipop lady got possessed by a slimer. Oi, bruv.
You met
How am I
my
gonna
mate
cross the road
Slimer? He
now?
got stabbed with a knife.
Oi, me mate, the taxi driver skeleton ghost, he got acid thrown on his face. Because there's acid attacks here. It's really common to get attacked by acid. It's more dangerous than the ghosts.
It's more dangerous than guns. It's easier to find a gun than it is to find a parking spot.
Well, that's because they paved paradise.
Right. They put up a parking lot there.
Yeah, and filled them with guns. So we watched Ghostbusters 2. They made a second one.
They made a second one, and I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did.
Let's talk about the negatives of this movie. Ernie Hudson doesn't have his mustache.
He does not, and it's disappointing, dude.
It's really unfortunate. Like, he's such a killer mustache. He always rocks it. He's still rocking it to this day.
Ernie Hudson and Billy D. Williams, they're both in that same category of people who always have to have a mustache.
Right. And like Burt Reynolds,
Mm-hmm. Hugh Hefner?
I don't think so. Maybe Tom Selleck.
It's the equivalent of Robert Downey Jr. with a beard.
Right.
But
yeah, so he lost his mustache, but everything else is great. So they're just, Well, I mean, for the most part.
I mean, busting does make him feel good.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
It's one of those things. This movie gets a lot. I don't know that this movie gets as much hate as it used to.
I don't know. Straight up, I like, as I was watching this movie, I seemed to remember bits of it. I think this is like something I maybe watched like half of this on TV as a kid or something.
I'm positive this and the first Ghostbusters used to do double features back to back and were both available on demand. Frequently. So I used to watch this on video on demand on my TV as a kid. I remembered more from this one than I did the first one.
Interesting.
Which I'm sure, once again, used to watch this on TV. This one's probably cheaper to license. It was easier for TV to broadcast, so it was easier for me to watch. This movie gets it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? As far as Ghostbusters go.
They get it.
Like, if the first one is this thing, and everybody's trying to replicate it, including this movie, right? Everybody's trying to replicate this magic that the first movie had. They've tried to replicate it 3 times since this. This movie gets
one of which came out this year.
Right. 4 times, including the second one then. This movie gets it. And we'll kind of talk more about what that means probably towards the end. So stick around for that. Before we jump into the discussion, before we get into the discussion of the movie, I want you to go ahead and hit that share button, whether you're listening on Spotify or YouTube, wherever you're watching or listening. I want you to hit that share button, and I want you to send this to someone you know who believes in ghosts. Because you've got at least one. It's probably like a grandma, or maybe it's a family friend. You know somebody who believes in ghosts, and go ahead and send them this video. Don't send them the movie, but send them this video.
Or do send them the movie if you happen to have
like a Blu-ray copy,
on DVD, or Blu-ray, VHS, even
maybe like what's the one disc? Laserdisc. If you got a Laserdisc,
Laserdisc
too.
Yeah. Sure.
Got a pirated copy on like a burnt DVD,
a burned DVD, whatever. Yeah, it's Ghostbusters written in Sharpie on it. Send that out.
Or Ghostbusters 2.
Well,
maybe you drew the little logo with the peace sign.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
If you've got an MP4 or an MOV or an MKV file, go ahead and email that to a friend.
Sure.
Who believes in ghosts.
Right.
But point being, send this video to someone you know.
But more importantly, though, our podcast is more important than the movie we talk about.
Last little plug here. Patreon. We have a Patreon link is in the description on YouTube and I think
How
podcast
much
platforms.
to holler at us?
It's only $1 and we will holler.
Will we really? For just $1?
Yeah, for just $1.
That's a great deal in this economy.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Like that's
No,
like
look, here's the
0%
thing.
inflation.
Watching movies is
That's
fun.
like the Costco hot dog, you know?
Right? Watching movies is fun. Watching movies is more fun with other people. But if you're a loser and you don't have anybody to watch movies with and you'd
Right.
like to watch along with us, we have commentary tracks available on
Or
Patreon
maybe
for
maybe you
$1.
just think we're like really cool. Maybe you do have people to watch movies with, but they're not as cool as us, and you want to watch movies with someone cooler, someone who's just like super chill, and you wish we were your friends instead of your lame loser friends. Then just fucking watch with us. Fuck your friends; they're dorks anyways.
Yeah, or invite some people over, put on the commentary
Right.
track, watch the movie with some commentary.
Yeah, and promote our podcast to them.
Yeah,
And then listen to our
super
podcast.
fun.
Just go on our YouTube channel, just play all our just shuffle through our podcast playlist.
But like
you know?
Clockwork Orange style, where you've got all their eyes peeled back.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're playing Beethoven in the background.
But
Yeah.
yeah, into the movie. The movie opens really strange.
It's strange. Yeah, it's just the what is it, the Columbia logo, and then
it's the Columbia logo, and then it's just a black screen with
just
white text that says
5
years
years later.
which also write that down.
Which
That's a sick T-shirt.
true.
It just says 5 years later, and you're instantly thinking 5 years from what? I think the implication is it's 5 years since the
5 years from the
first
last
movie,
obviously, which
is
it is. It came
weird.
out 5 years later, and it takes place 5 years later. Sure,
Right.
why
The
not?
Ghostbusters have disbanded.
They fell off. They have multiple lawsuits against them.
Multiple lawsuits. People think they're frauds. People think they were drugging them or
Right.
making them hallucinate. Like they think the whole thing is made up. The whole first movie
Yeah.
didn't actually happen.
So what are they individually? So Venkman has his psychic TV show where he's a
Yes.
fraud.
He
And that's
says,
fun.
"I am a fraud."
He's like, I am. These people think you're a fraud. I am a fraud.
A little bit of foreshadowing there, where one of the people who's on the TV show
Right.
predicts that the end of the world will be New Year's this year. And it's a
Yep.
recognizable guy. I think he might have been in Entourage. He played somebody's dad in something. He might be Ted Mosby's dad?
No. He's Shia LaBeouf's dad in Transformers. He's Shia LaBeouf's father in Transformers.
Right.
He is. That's crazy. As soon as you said someone's dad.
That's
nuts.
wild. I can't believe
Yeah,
that.
so Shia LaBeouf's father
Shia
is
LaBeouf's
the
father,
psychic in
and
this.
then there's a psychic woman who's also somebody. Like somebody famous who I've seen before.
Maybe Shia LaBeouf's mom from Transformers. Who knows?
So, but could
Probably
be.
not. No.
But anyway, so they're on the show. They're predicting the end of the world. Whatever. Egon is running. He is back. Like he's a professional scientist.
Yeah, he's just doing science. He's doing weird, crazy science experiments where he's just like torturing people. He's torturing children, giving them puppies and then taking them away.
Yeah.
He put like a angry couple in like a hot room together and just made them like get mad at each other.
Oh, and he's got some bars in this, but we'll get to that in a second after we go through the introductions of all the characters.
Yeah.
Ray and
Winston, yeah.
Ray. They're
neither of them have mustaches.
No.
One of them should, but I digress.
They're party mascots.
Yeah, they're just they're just going to like kids' birthday parties, just looking for an easy buck because people remember the Ghostbusters from 5 years ago.
And that's the opening scene of the movie because it makes it look like they're on a call, and then it turns out it's a birthday
They're like,
party.
how many of them are there? How big are they? And then it's just it's little kids.
And then there's the little kid who's just so mean.
He's just a dick. He's like, my dad says you guys are hacks, you're frauds, you faked the whole thing, and you're full of shit.
It reminds me of the Spy Kids kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like my dad thinks you made all it up. He thinks you're idiots. He thinks you're frauds. He thinks you're ugly. He thinks you smell bad.
He thinks you're ugly and you stink and you're short and I don't like you.
He thinks you never should have been Ghostbusters. He thinks ghosts aren't real. He thinks you're idiots.
And he thinks busting doesn't even make you feel good.
He thinks busting makes you feel bad. In fact.
But then we get Sigourney Weaver. I think we got Sigourney Weaver before we introduced Harold Ramis.
Ray also has a bookstore where he sells like
Yes,
normal
yeah, an
books and
occult
merchandise. Yeah, it's like an
bookstore.
occult store. But yeah,
Yeah, I think
in
it's called
Sigourney
Ray's
Weaver,
Occult.
we catch up
So
with her
Sigourney
as
Weaver
well.
has a baby.
Right.
She is a single mother.
Her husband
We
left
don't
her.
learn who the father is till later, but it's maybe the guy she went on a date with in the first movie,
Right.
or just some other
And it's
orchestra
also
guy.
kind of left open to interpretation. Like it could be Bill Murray's baby, it could not be. Because he says the thing like
I
he
didn't get
says
that interpretation,
no, because he
but
says, I should have been your father. I
right,
could
because
have been your father.
he was dating her. He was in a relationship with her before she dated
Sure, but
his
could
father
have been
and married his
implies
father.
like I could be your father. You know what I'm saying?
No, then he would have said I could be, not I could have
Yeah, maybe
been.
so. It's
He was
left open to
speaking
interpretation.
hypothetically.
It's left open.
It's not. It's
Nah,
not.
it's left open to
I don't
interpretation.
think Sigourney Weaver cheated on her husband with him.
It's open to
Okay, that
interpretation.
it's not. It isn't.
It's open to
Okay,
interpretation. I mean, the
he's
baby was
Bill
born
Murray is
exactly 9
Bill
months
Murray.
after the wedding. I mean, it's open to interpretation.
It's not. Bill Murray's not the father of this baby. He just effectively becomes his surrogate father because he gets back with Sigourney Weaver
It's
by the end of
maybe.
the movie.
No, so Sigourney Weaver rolls
Whatever.
through a puddle of slime
Yes,
in
she
her
rolls through
stroller.
some slime, and then the slime takes control of her baby carriage and rolls it into traffic, but then it stops right before a bus hits it.
Right,
So
right
then
before busting
she
makes
goes
the slime
to
feel good. But we'll
right.
get
Well,
there.
it wouldn't have made it feel good. That's why it stopped.
Right, but something
Because
will, and we'll
they're
get there.
frauds. Well, they're frauds. It doesn't make them feel
Yeah,
good.
but Egon, we'll get there. We'll get to when
Right.
slime
He'll make the slime feel good, but
he'll bust and make the slime feel
uh,
good. Anyway,
but so yeah, so she takes her baby in the carriage, whatever, to Egon. She's like, "Hey, some ghost stuff happened. Help!
to my baby, some
My
Ghostbusters
baby
to
got
my baby.
ghosted. I need to,
And she's pretty
bust the
adamant.
ghost."
She wants Egon's help. She wants
Right. There's a
Ray's
little
help, but she doesn't want
mhm,
Venkman's help
right.
because she hasn't spoken to him since they broke up and since she got married.
Right.
Um,
I think this is when we get a little exposition about her husband, ex-husband, yada yada yada. And then I think it's probably right after that they introduce Bill Murray and the whole hack stuff. And
yeah,
then
for sure. We kind of did a little,
yeah, no,
yeah,
we were bouncing around, but
we also
I'm
at
trying to
that
think
point
because
we meet Woody. Um,
right, Woodrow from Psych.
right, whatever his real name is, he's the mayor's.
Kurt Fuller was his
Yes,
name in the credits.
we
Maybe it's not his name in real life, but it was in the credits.
he's the
Uh,
mayor's PR guy, I think. Is
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I think
and
so.
the mayor, of course, is the same mayor from the last movie.
Right, right, and he's great. He's fun.
He helped out the Ghostbusters, and it was like a redemption arc. But in this movie, they kind of go back on that a little bit because he didn't really help for good reasons. Like it's not supposed to be a redemption
No, he
thing,
helped because it would have gotten him votes, and
right?
clearly it helped him stay in office because he's still mayor.
Right. And so Woody says, "Hey, don't talk to the mayor because you're a hack and a fraud and an ex-Ghostbuster."
Sure, sure.
And the Ghostbusters are universally hated pretty much in this movie, which makes sense. Like I think people would probably turn on the Ghostbusters in real life
Oh yeah,
too,
sure.
especially these Ghostbusters. The comic
Well, yeah,
Ghostbusters maybe not, but these Ghostbusters, yeah, in real life they're getting turned on real quick because they're schlubs.
right.
They don't know what they're doing. They're
Yeah, they
idiots.
suck. I mean, they suck.
They do. They
They're
suck,
shit.
but
Yeah.
they're the only option. And
Hmm.
so, yeah. So I think the mayor's turned on them. Everybody's turned on the Ghostbusters, but they start to get this psycho activity. So they go to visit Sigourney Weaver's house to run some tests on the baby.
Hmm.
And when they
Yeah,
get
they
there,
do some baby
they do
tests.
some baby tests. Bill Murray plays a cello like it's a guitar, and he actually plays
Right.
the listenable music.
Yeah, it's at some point Bill Murray went to hang out with them and he pulled on Dan Aykroyd's ears to get the information out of him. That was pretty
Yeah,
funny.
funny. That's when we found
He
out
was
about
like,
the
who?
occult shop.
Right, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No, it was just he like popped into the occult shop
Right.
when they were investigating the stuff for Sigourney Weaver. But yeah, so he plays the cello like a guitar. It's real silly.
Real sick though.
Yeah. Then they say, okay, we couldn't find any ghost stuff in your apartment, so they checked like the street outside. Oh no, they checked the street where she was walking with the baby, I think.
Yeah,
And
they check the street,
then
they check the
they're
apartment,
like,
they
oh,
check
we're
the
getting
bed.
crazy ghost readings from this crack in the ground. There's some crazy electromagnetic slime underneath this this concrete. Let's drill into it.
Right, and yeah.
Let's get a jackhammer.
They get a jackhammer. They start drilling into the street. It's super fun.
It's so silly.
They get
Some
caught
cops pull up to
twice.
try and stop them, and Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd just bullshit their way through it.
Right.
Then once they get in, they're like lowering Dan Aykroyd into the slime. The cops come again. They're like, they've got a real construction guy with them. They're like, hey, you're not with the union. Get the fuck out of here. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
They say something like, hey, we caught both of the only people who are allowed to drill in the street in New York, and you're not with either of them.
He's like, you want to try again? He's like, these gas lines down here, they're about to explode.
Yeah, it was really funny. But yeah, so they're digging down to the street. They're doing all this.
But yeah, so they discover some old abandoned sewer system that for some reason they assumed would just stop existing when people stopped using it, because that's how sewers work. And it's now filled with slime, and the slime is oozing, and it's going towards the museum, but we don't know that yet. The museum, Sigourney Weaver works at a museum where she restores art, and this one painting talks to Tommy Wiseau.
It's the painting of Virgo
Viggo Morgenstein.
It's Vigo the Conqueror or something.
He had a bunch of names.
And so at around this point we introduced that the painting can talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So William von Homburg is the actor who plays the guy. He's in Die Hard, but nothing much of note. However, all of his lines were dubbed by Max von Sydow.
Interesting. That's the Tommy Wiseau Josh character.
That's
that's
Viggo.
The
painting. That's Viggo.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Emperor Ming from Flash Gordon did the voice, but he was not the character.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, so that's why all of his lines looked dubbed, because they were.
Right.
But yeah, so the painting starts talking. They wheel in this big painting of this evil-looking guy who was in Die Hard as somebody. So they wheel in the painting of the big guy, and he starts talking.
He was also in Dr. Mordred. By that I mean he looks like the bad guy from Dr. Mordred.
Right.
With
I don't
combs.
see him in the thing for Dr. Mordred, but not.
No, he for sure wasn't. But
but wouldn't that be wild?
It'd be crazy.
Yeah, he was in Wild Wild West. But anyway, he's in a bunch of westerns. But anyway, they wheel in the painting, and it starts talking to a guy who, it's not a Fortnite accent; it's a Redditor accent.
Well, it's a Redditor accent. It's an Eastern European accent, but he has a Redditor voice.
Well, he talks like a Redditor. He speaks like somebody who posts on Reddit, like a Reddit mod,
correct,
or a Discord mod, either one.
He talks like our friend Josh.
he's Josh.
You know him. He used to be on the podcast. You remember?
Go back, watch some old episodes. You'll get to meet Josh.
Yeah, watch our Scooby Doo or Ninja Turtles.
Right. Watch any of the ones before we started doing video.
Right.
But anyway, so the painting is of, well, we don't know who it is at this point, but the painting wants a baby.
Mm-hmm. The painting wants to become a baby.
So it can be reborn as this baby, and the painting has this ability to hypnotize people who stare into its eyes long enough.
Right, he just like shoots lightning out of his eyes and possesses them or something.
And it's like it's a sick scene because it comes out of nowhere, and it's like the only moderately serious scene in the whole movie is when Josh Wiseau is staring into the eyes of the painting. It's not even that, it like hard cuts to the painting, and then he just falls off the ladder because he got shot with lightning.
Yeah.
But yes, this painting is basically able to mind control people to do its bidding, and so it gets Joshua Wiseau to go to steal Dana or Sigourney Weaver's baby from her.
Right.
And at this point we meander a bit. We're experimenting with the slime is what we're doing. The Ghostbusters are reformed. I guess we should mention that.
They're Ghostbusters. Yes, we're back. Yes, we're the Ghostbusters. Yes, busting still makes us feel good.
So the Ghostbusters are back. There's a montage very similar to the first movie, except for this time they're in Instead of khaki coveralls, they're in which I wore all
Right.
khaki
Well,
in honor of that.
they bounce between khaki and navy blue
And
ones.
the
And they're
navy is
cracked.
so sick.
The navy ones are so hard. They should have worn them for more of the main scenes, but any scenes outside of the compilation whatever montage scene,
Which is weird
they're
because
just
they
in the
wear them
normal
in,
ones.
like, the posters and stuff. The
Right.
promotional images for this movie were done in the Navy, but this was before the era of your characters have to look different in every movie to sell more toys.
True,
And it was
true.
probably done because I think in the cartoon, they all wear different color coveralls. And the cartoon
Uh,
ran between the first Ghostbusters movie and this. So that's
right,
why
right.
Slimer is back because it doesn't really like it's fine, whatever.
He's back for
Slimer,
one scene.
he's
It's
in
like a
2 or
little
3. He lives in he's in the Ghostbusters like house in this. Like there's a scene where he's just eating whatever and Rick Moranis is there and he's like, whatever, Slimer.
right.
And then he's on the bus. But he's in both those
Right. Yeah,
scenes.
yeah,
And this is like the trivia for the movie, I guess. But they put him into those scenes because the cartoon was so popular. And at this
yeah.
point, the cartoon had been renamed Slimer and the Ghostbusters because he was really popular with kids.
Yeah, and he's a little slime monster. He's a silly little guy.
Right. But in the
Like, who wouldn't
cartoon, I
want him?
think they all wore different color coveralls so that you could tell them apart. Because in a cartoon, they've all got dark hair.
Because they're all just
Everyone
like, yeah, they all
except
look the
Egon
same.
looks the same. And by everyone, I
Right.
mean Ray and Bill Murray look the same. And then when he gets
Yeah.
his own, whatever. But they also changed Egon's hair to blonde in the cartoon. But anyway,
Right.
that's probably why they did that. But the navy blue coveralls look so good.
Yeah. So the navy blue coveralls are sick. They've got new patches, new sign, and new decal on the car of the Ghostbusters 2 logo. It's doing a little peace sign number 2.
The car's
It's
kinda, like,
silly, but I love
completely
it.
redone.
Oh yeah, no,
Super
car is super pimped out now. It's got like a little like flashing neon sign on the top saying, "Yes, we're back. Yes, busting still makes us feel good."
It even says "Hire
Uh,
us," I think.
yeah, yeah. No, it's
And there's a
great.
little quote on the car that says, "Yes, I believe," and then it's got their phone number.
That's hard. I didn't catch that. But yeah, it's great. We get a little busted making us feel good montage. The secretary comes back. She's got cool redhead bob bangs now. Um, and
We see,
now the other nerd is gonna end up with her.
there's
Because
2 ghost montages in this movie, and this is the first one, and we see some cool ghosts.
right.
There's the guy running around the track.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
pretty cool. We see Slimer
They
again
they
during this montage. There's another one. It's just a few ghosts. Just to kinda 'cause
right.
up
Oh,
to this point, we really haven't seen any ghosts
did we
in.
we blew past the courtroom scene, didn't we? Because that was why they came back. Was
You're right,
after
you're
that,
right, you're
right?
right. We did.
Because they're
Before the ghost
what was
montage, they
yes.
they get arrested for digging into the
That's
police
yeah, yeah,
station.
it was when they got arrested for
They get arrested for
the
digging into the
move.
street, and in court, they get found guilty, but then the
Oh, and they took a sample of the slime and they had it in court with them.
right, the
They get
slime that
found
they had with
guilty.
them.
Judge is yelling at them. Judge is getting super angry. This is important. He's really mad. He's angry. He's yelling. And the slime starts bubbling. And from that slime bubble, it explodes, and two ghosts of
Right.
people that
Ghosts of
the
people
judge had
previously, sent to the electric chair, but
yeah tried and charged
and so
for murder and electrocuted.
this isn't
Yeah,
enough time to talk about how the slime works because I don't really get it, but I
I
think
I think I understand. The
the slime
slime
is created by
came from nothing. It was created by negative human emotions, which
right.
it's in New York City. There is a lot of that. People in New York are horrible assholes.
It's created in New
Um,
York to bring Vigo back.
right.
Um, because I guess he's like the god of angry human emotion. I don't know.
Something I don't
That part's a
know.
little wishy-washy. I don't super get that. But the slime
It's fine.
also creates ghost or brings back
Mhm.
ghost, I guess, whatever,
It
depending on how
can
it
I
is.
think it
The
affects the
ghosts in both movies are created by something. So I don't think ghosts are naturally
right.
occurring in this universe as much as they're
I mean,
created
I
by
think
deeper
it's
entities.
yeah.
Because there are also drastically different ghosts between both movies, which I appreciate. In the first movie, all the ghosts are
Yeah,
like
kind
weird
of.
monsters. Whereas
That's
in
true.
this
There are
one, the ghosts
more.
are humans related to whatever event they're close to. So
Right.
in the courtroom, it's the ghost of two people who were
Two brothers who were tried for murder and got the electric chair.
right, and
Then they're
then
they're
it's
floating
the
around in
man
their
who's
electric chair. It's
turning,
really
and
cool and
then
silly.
it's later on in the movie, it's
Oh,
Titanic.
Bill Murray has a great line. He says to the judge, "Just tell him you don't believe in ghosts." That
That
was
was,
really good.
that was Ray, I think.
Was it Ray
That
that
was
said
Dan
that?
Aykroyd, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Either way, funny schlub
so the
guy, whatever.
slime creates supernatural activity
Hmm.
and also is all underground in different tunnels heading towards the museum where the painting is so that Vigo
Right.
can transmit his body into a baby so that he can be reborn.
Yeah.
It's very convoluted, it's very strange.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, that's the slime bit. But
That's
yeah,
this.
so
Yes.
after that they walk
But
out and they're like, "We're the Ghostbusters, we're
right,
Ghostbusting," then into the
we're back.
montage.
Yeah. Then we get the montage. Then at some point after that is them experimenting with the slime. They yell at it. We found out that Egon had sex with it,
And
which
it's
I
not
mean, of
even like
course he
implied,
did.
it's said.
No, he did. Yeah, like he fucked that slime.
Right, it's not even implied because Bill Murray says, "What, did you make love to it?" And
Right.
then they
Well,
look
no,
back and forth.
he goes to Ray. He says, Ray, you're not sleeping with this thing, are you? He says, no, I'm not. And he like glances over at Egon.
And then Winston says, "It's always the quiet one."
Oh
Oh,
yeah, no, it's
and then they put it in a
great.
toaster and the toaster dances.
Yeah, the toaster dances. They figure out that
What's the song he
it
loves?
it
Your love keeps lifting me higher.
right. But they find out. So it's in the state that they found it. It is negatively charged by all the negative human emotions in New York City, but they can reverse the charge. They can positively charge it by playing happy music or talking sweet to it or sleeping with it, I guess. Um,
That's how they positively charged all that slime, dude. The guy
right. They
died
just
his hero.
so yeah. So they were fucking the slime and
No, the slime, all right, let's be real, it's Egon. The slime put
right.
up with it, but he wasn't happy about it. The slime just kind of laid there and let Egon do his thing and then was neutrally charged after making love.
Right.
Oh, what happens after this? Oh, this is when you step into the bathroom
Baby.
and,
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver goes to give the baby a bath and turns on her bathtub. And when she does, it's normal for a second, but then slime starts coming out while she's not paying attention. The bathtub starts growing into this sick little slime puppet and
Right.
starts
I didn't see
jumping
this.
and
You
trying
never
to.
went back for this for me.
Ah, my
I
bad.
missed this.
My bad.
Yeah, cool.
It tries
Just can't contribute anything to the discussion. I'll just sit here in silence. It's fine.
tries to
Whatever. It's
eat
cool.
the baby because Vigo wants the baby. This is the first attempt to get the baby. So she runs away and she winds up at Bill Murray's apartment,
Mhm.
which looks like Bill Murray's apartment.
It's yeah. It's great.
And so she gets there and they're, take care of her or whatever. The Ghostbusters come just to see, they go check out her apartment, see what's going on. All the slime has gone. And this is where the movie meanders a bit and we cut back and forth from Vigo talking to Josh Wiseau and
Mhm.
the Ghostbusters trying to figure out what's going on and how Sigourney Weaver is involved.
Right.
While
So, yeah, this is like the doing research, trying to figure stuff out
Yeah, which is no
part.
fun to talk about.
They learn a bit about Vigo, maybe.
Yeah, they do. They
I
learn
don't
who
know.
he is, right? Like he was 105 years old when he died,
Yes,
and he
he
didn't
had a
actually
and
die.
he didn't die of old age. He was poisoned,
He was
stabbed, shot, drawn and quartered,
I don't
and
think he was shot
decapitated.
in the 1400s or
It
1500s.
would no, it was they said he died in 1610.
Uh,
There was at least like cannons.
yeah, I guess he could have been shot with a cannon. Either way, yeah, but he was pulled
It's
into
the
different.
Ghostbusters, whatever.
They beheaded him,
They definitely said shot,
maybe
and
like shot
stabbed
with
and drawn
an
and
arrow.
quartered.
Maybe could have been shot with an
That's
arrow.
that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, they didn't specify a gun. Yeah,
Yeah. So, but anyway,
but I
but
feel
they
like
mentioned he was beheaded.
powder rifles existed in the
And
1600s,
then
right? Like
his last words were, "I'll be back." So they find all of that out over this time where Sigourney Weaver is living in Bill Murray's house, Bill Murray
Mm-hmm.
essentially says, "Hey, let's go on a date," because he's trying to rekindle the love that he lost. He's
Right.
clearly still in love
He's
with
trying to
her.
riz her
She's
up.
clearly still in love with him.
She cleaned his apartment.
That's a funny
He dropped a bar about his clothes having more than two states, you know.
right.
They're not just
He
clean or
comes home
dirty,
and he
there's
goes, "Oh
subtlety, there's
no, oh
layers.
no, what happened? She cleaned."
Yeah, it's great.
So she gets Rick Moranis and the receptionist to come and
Right, we get a
babysit.
cute little nerd love sequence
It's like
between them.
so funny and it's so
It's
uncomfortable, but it's hilarious.
yeah, it's great. No, I love me some awkward nerd
Dude,
love.
it's so good. But yeah, so they come to babysit, and over this
Mhm.
time, as they're getting ready to go on their date, the rest of the Ghostbusters show up and they're like, "Hey, we found old maps to the city. We want to go check the goop that's underground, right? We got a little bit of it. We want to check some more, see what's going on." Sigourney Weaver says, "No, I'm gonna go get a
Right,
taxi," and Bill Murray goes with her on this date. And this is where the movie I
right.
think really ramps up for me. Like this is where
Yeah.
I start to get really invested.
Mhm.
So
So it's
they
the everyone but Venkman is in the sewer or the old
subway
subway
track,
line,
yeah,
whatever it
it's been
is. Yeah.
abandoned for 50 years, they say.
Mhm.
And they're walking through it, and it's one of the coolest, legitimately scary scenes in the whole
Yeah, yeah.
movie.
It was really strange because they just like turn around and there's like one head on a
And
spike,
it seems
then
to
they
be
turn around
Vigo's
and
head, like it looks like Vigo's
yeah,
head, which they've
but
already
then they
established
turn
is
around
the head.
again and there's like a whole bunch of heads on
And they just start
spikes.
screaming like
They're screaming, they're
gutturally.
freaking out,
Yeah,
and then they turn around a couple more times and they're all
and they're
gone.
gone, but and all of this, it's
Then
framed well, it's dark, it's
it's
gritty,
yeah,
it's
it's
frightening.
great. But then they're naturally freaking out. They're like, "Okay, we clearly should have brought our ghost busting equipment down here."
Right.
So they're
So
like,
turn around to go
Let's go
get it.
back for that."
And as they're on their way back to get the proton packs, a train starts running towards them, and
Like,
it's not a
what's
subway.
that noise?
Right. But it's not a subway train, it's an actual train, like
It's
a
yeah,
steam
like a steam
locomotive.
engine. Mhm.
And it runs through Winston. Winston
Right.
had a
It
train run
yeah.
on him.
She did, yeah. I
Um,
mean, that's what happens when you shave the mustache, you
right,
know?
right. And they go to and they're like, "Well, let's go get the rest of the packs." And then Ray's like, "No, I found the hole to get into the place that we need to go into." And so
Right.
they go and they're kind of exploring this.
They're going down the Ooze
Yes,
River,
and
the
it
river of
looks
slime.
really good.
It's yeah, it's super cool looking. The slime is great
I
in this
don't know.
movie.
It's I mean, it's for sure a mix of practical effects and some hand-drawn stuff and maybe even a little bit of
Mhm.
CGI and some matte painting,
Sure, yeah.
but it's got this beautiful, like, pink glow to it that
Yeah,
looks
and I mean,
real.
just the way it moves
Yes,
looks,
it
like,
moves
so
like
good
lava.
for yeah,
It
for
doesn't
fucking
Yeah, it doesn't
90s, 80s,
move
whatever.
like shampoo or whatever you would think this goo would move like. It
Right.
legitimately moves like lava,
Mhm.
and it's really fascinating, and I'm a huge fan of the way it looks and the way it moves and all that kinda stuff.
Right.
Um,
But then they all fall into the slime
they
somehow?
do.
I don't Oh, well, they're fishing in it.
Right.
They're, like, getting some samples or something. They're gone fit. They'd rather be rodcasting. Fuck podcasting. They'd rather be rodcasting, you know? But then they all fall in and you know, they get real mad at each other once they get out and they're like, "Wait, this isn't us getting mad. It's the goop. It's making us
Yeah,
mad."
they start like they're about to fist fight.
They're about to fucking fade in the middle of the street. It's great.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So according to a post I just found on Reddit,
Okay.
um, this is like from the ultimate visual history of the Ghostbusters.
Sure.
Um, they needed 100,000 gallons of slime to make this movie, and the effects team locked down a recipe of 8 cups methosol, four and a
So
half
they got
cups
meth
of
in that slime?
citran, 32 gallons of water, and 50 cc's of red food coloring. So each batch made
Hmm,
32 gallons of slime. Um,
interesting.
yeah, that's interesting. A little bit. The book goes a little bit more into it. For added effect, the slime was laced with mica dust, which is the kind of glowy dust, and finished with a
Oh, that's
layer of
neat.
mineral oil to appear it has varying depths. The dust and oil was
That's
used in the river
cool.
scenes, and that's why the mood slime has a different texture. So they like put oil on
Gotcha.
it so that as the slime was rolling over itself, it had this
Right,
like
it looks like
layered.
textured layers, and that's super cool,
Super
actually.
fascinating. But yeah, so they fall into the slime because he'd rather be rodcasting than podcasting. And
True.
then
I
they
mean,
come
who
back up and
wouldn't?
the mood slime has affected their mood to the point where they're like fist fighting in the street.
I mean, they're fucking
And
pissed. Yeah, they're
even
about
and
to
even
fuck.
Egon, who's the sane one, right? Egon pops up and he goes,
Mhm.
"Hey, what are you guys
Well,
doing?"
he did fuck the slime. I don't know if we
That's
can
true.
still call him the
He's
sane
the
one.
calm one at
He's
least.
the
He's
smart one.
Donatello. Um,
Mhm.
he pops up out and he goes, "Hey guys, what are you doing? At least take your clothes off first." And so they strip down into their
Right.
like undergarments. And then it clicks. I think Winston is the one who says it. It clicks like the slime is affecting
Mhm.
our mood. It's making us angry. So they go to tell Ray.
Yeah, they go into this nice restaurant that that Venkman and Sigourney Weaver are on their date, and they're just drenched in slime. They're like slinging it at the the fucking the other the
Patrons.
customers. Damn, patrons. That's the word I was looking for. So they're slinging
Excited.
slime everywhere. They're like crazy excited about discovering whatever they
They're
discovered.
specifically really
Like,
happy that the slime made them angry at each other.
yeah, no, they're because they're like nerds. They're just
Right.
excited to
Except
be
for Winston,
learning.
who's not a nerd, but he's still excited about
Right,
this
but
fact.
he's just yeah,
They could be like,
he's
"Oh,
still excited
the
to figure
slime
stuff
got
out.
positively charged because of the positivity, and now he's just really excited because it's
Right,
ecstasy."
maybe because it is. Yeah, they do make ecstasy slime.
So they get kicked out of
Um,
the restaurant.
mm,
Peter Venkman decides to leave with Sigourney Weaver. Um, we go back. No, we don't go back to Ghostbusters headquarters at this point. Where do they go after they get kicked out of the restaurant? They go to the mayor.
Venkman's
They go to
apartment.
the mayor.
Oh, yes.
So they go to the mayor and they're talking about the slime. They're like, "Hey, everybody's really angry. New Yorkers are upset at each other. Here's the slime. You've seen it. Like, this is the thing. This is what it's doing." And the mayor's like, "Look, this is gonna really upset a whole lot of people. This is gonna be a big problem. I don't want a big
Right.
problem.
He's like, yeah, I'm good. Re-election is coming up. Ah, geez,
I'm the
last
mayor of
time
New York.
last time when you guys asked me to help, it would have helped my reputation, got more votes. This time, I don't know.
Last
It's
time
not
you
gonna
destroyed a
fly.
whole block of the city and a big
Yeah.
old
So then
building."
they threaten to go to the press.
Right.
They're like,
After the
okay,
mayor's
then
left,
we
they
will.
threatened to go to the press.
Right. Yeah. So the mayor leaves. He's like,
Woodley.
no, I'm not doing this. Leaves them with Kurt Fuller, Woody from Psych. He's like, all right, well, if you won't take us seriously, we'll just go to the newspapers. They'll listen. They'll
The
fucking
New
print
York
anything.
Post will listen to me. I'm Bill Murray.
Right. I had a fucking TV show about psychics.
I had a Groundhog
Um,
Day.
right.
That's what he said.
Multiple, in fact.
Yeah, lots of them, I think.
Uh, but
But yeah, so he says, "All right, cool. Just
so
go
then
see the police downtown first
right, yeah, go tell your story to our boys downtown. So they get locked up in a psychiatric facility.
with Bill Murray's brother."
Bill Murray's brother, who is old enough to be his father, is the psychologist who's like, you guys are crazy.
Is that what he sounds
Um,
like?
I think that's what he says directly. I think
He's
that's a direct quote
in.
from the movie. He says, "Hey, you guys are crazy, aren't you?"
He's the boss from a
Christmas
Christmas
Vacation.
Vacation.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
he
Yep.
is. Yes,
And he looks like Bill Murray. He looks just like Bill
right.
Murray,
And
but way old. He
he
looks like
looks
Bill
just
Murray
like Bill Murray, except yeah, he's looked as old as Bill Murray looks
Is he
now
dead?
since
Surely he's
Christmas Vacation.
dead.
I think he might not. I'll look up. Brian Doyle Murray.
Yeah, but you know his
Murray.
name. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, he's still kicking. 78 years old.
He's only 78 years old. How old
Yeah,
is Bill Murray?
he's only 5 years older than Bill Murray. Bill Murray's
That's
73.
so wild to me.
No, he has looked so fucking old for so long.
Yeah, and this movie looks just like Bill Murray looks now, but with a mustache.
Right.
Does he still have that mustache?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's
That's
just
good.
way
That's
fatter
good. That
now.
makes sense. That's
Yeah, he's still got the mustache.
But no, so they get thrown into the psych ward. They get told like, "Hey, you're idiots and we hate you," or whatever. and then they
right. That's another quote from the movie. Yeah.
So they live there for a while, and then we get another ghost montage because the slime gets really bad.
Yeah.
And this is
Slime gets
when,
real bad.
but
Is this
there's
when the
nobody there to
slime?
bust them.
Is this when the slime like fully surrounds the museum, or is that later?
Yes, the slime begins to fully surround the museum.
Mhm. This is when we're talking. We're like, man, the slime looks so good,
And
and
then it
then it
cuts to
shows
the
the
worst
shot of
looking
it
shot of
going
the
up the
slime, yeah.
museum. It's like, oh,
Um,
okay.
and yeah, and then
Can't rain all the
this is
time.
when because they're still watching the baby, Sigourney Weaver's baby. Rick Moranis and the secretary are still watching the
Well,
baby,
okay.
and they're
Sigourney
making sweet,
Weaver.
sweet love.
Yes, I think had Sigourney Weaver showed back up at that point, probably
Well,
because Bill
she's showing
Murray
up
had
like
ended
at
their date.
this point.
Yeah, so she shows up, catches them, fanoodling.
Mackin, we'll say.
They're macking, then they just all hang out together and watch Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane.
Um, and
Rick
then
Moranis
when
spoils
that's
it for
happening,
everyone.
right, it spoils the fucking movie. Like, come on, man, that's a
While they're
classic.
in the middle of it too, which is just so
Right.
wild. She's like, "Oh yeah, that's Citizen Kane's wife. She's gonna divorce him." It's just
Like,
like,
oh,
Rick
we're
Moranis,
watching the movie now.
you're in the middle of the movie.
But
How you
but
gonna
yeah, so
spoil
but while that's
Citizen Kane?
happening, somehow
Palpatine has
Josh
returned.
Wiseau, Palpatine has returned, but now he's Eastern European Redditor Josh Wiseau. But he's from the Bayou. I'm from New Orleans. I'm from the Bayou. I make my money selling jeans. I'm from the Bayou.
It's funny because there's a line
Uh,
like that in this movie.
is there?
Yeah, when they're going to see like what's going on with the museum, Venkman asks him, he's like, "Hey, where are you from?" And he goes, "The Upper West Side."
Oh yeah, that's true. That's great. Uh,
Oh, but yeah. So
but yeah,
anyway,
somehow he turns into
he turns
some
into a
like
ghost because he's got ghost power.
old lady babushka ghost with a baby carriage.
The carrot,
That a carrot, well, a carrot and a stick,
right, right, right.
But so he's got the baby carrot, which is the same density as a human finger or something. Same difficulty to bite through.
That's true, actually.
Yeah. So that
And he
yeah,
bites the baby
the he kidnaps the baby with the ghost
bites through it
carriage.
like a baby carrot.
Right.
I'd imagine a
Except
baby's
just
finger is probably easier to bite through than a baby carrot.
right. Oh well, first the baby just like walked out on the ledge, like the
Yeah,
baby
well, I
just
think that was once again like a possession type
sure,
thing.
yeah. But
Doesn't make
we
any
just see the
sense.
baby out on the
They don't
ledge. No.
they don't do, and this is the thing that the first movie is really good at. They don't do nearly as good of a job at explaining the supernatural stuff.
Yes. Well, explaining it and keeping it consistent with itself. There's not a lot of consistency in the what ghosts can do. It's kind of just
Right.
whatever
And
the plot
in
needs.
my mind, it doesn't really matter because it's different causes. It doesn't really matter
Mhm.
if it's consistent with the ghosts in the first movie because a different entity is
Sure.
causing them, but it's also
Right.
not
Yeah.
super consistent with itself. Like sometimes the
No.
humans come back and they look like Muppets. Sometimes they come back and they look
Hmm.
like a normal runner. And there's lots of
Right.
normal human ghost in this. Slimer somehow comes back both times despite being,
Yes, Slimer's around. There's other Slimer types,
but
kind of
not
like there was
many.
that big.
There's
There was that one
and
like
the
bigger
dinosaur.
one. Yeah.
But ghosts are all over the city, and that's the point. Ghosts are all over the
Mhm.
city, and the baby has been kidnapped and brought to the museum.
Yes, baby's at the museum. Eventually Dana's gonna end up there too. I don't exactly remember how,
Yeah,
but
they leave after they find this out.
mhm.
They all leave to go to the museum together, or she
I
maybe
feel like
goes, and
I think just
Rick
Dana
Moranis
goes to the museum. Rick Moranis and
go
secretary
back to
go
Ghostbusters.
back to the headquarters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she winds up at the museum, and Josh Wiseau starts flirting with her, and he's like, "Hey, you could be the mother
Oh,
of a
so
god."
he's so creepy. Okay, so yeah, so he made the deal he made with Vigo the immortal or whatever was okay, if you get this woman's baby, me being your pawn, I get the woman.
Right. And he's
Like,
like, yeah, it's fine. I'll let you be my
like, yeah,
dick.
all right. I just want right,
Oh, he
yeah.
even
So
says
yeah,
something
it's
like that. He's like, she can be lover for you and mommy for
and a
me.
mother to me. Yeah,
Yeah, it's real weird.
so strange. Such a strange plot this movie has, but yeah, so then busting makes them feel good.
Yeah, so the
Um,
mayor sees all this stuff that's happening. He sees all this stuff that's going down, and he says, I need the Ghostbusters. They're the only people. They're idiots.
mhm.
I hate them. They're schlubs. But
But where are
they're
they? I
the
need
only
them.
option we have. Go get them.
Yeah,
He
so he's like, "Where are the
fires
Ghostbusters?" He's like, "Oh, geez, my bad." Woody's like, "Oh,
them committed.
I accidentally had them committed to a mental asylum.
Um,
Is that not what you wanted?"
yeah, so he has
So
Woody
then the
fired, he
mayor
brings in the
fires him,
Ghostbusters,
tells him to fuck off, brings the Ghostbusters, says, "Get me the Ghostbusters!"
to which they hatch their sick plan.
It's so fucking
But
dumb.
it's so
It's
sick.
yeah,
I
so
said at
they,
this point in the movie, I'm
naturally
like, I remember the ending of this now, and it reminds me of the ending of Spider-Man 2002. Because it's like New York is rallying together, American patriotism. The only difference is this one doesn't have an excuse because it didn't come out a year after 9/11.
uh,
Specifically the part where they're talking, because so they go to the museum, they shoot the museum with their lasers, and then they're like, we can't do it. And then they start looking at each other and they're like, we need a symbol. We need a symbol that can bring hope to the city. We need a symbol that can unite everybody. And it's like just hyping up the American patriotism, New York type
right,
thing, which is the ending of Spider-Man 2, or not Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2002. Like that's like it's
correct.
hyping up the
Yeah,
American
it's
spirit and the
kind of
American.
Spider-Man 2
Yeah, it's
also.
really all of the Raimi movies. Sam
Yeah,
Raimi,
I
he's
mean,
a true New Yorker.
Joey Diaz is in Spider-Man 2,
Right.
you know? He
Um,
says, what's the line he says?
I don't remember.
It's like, "You wanna get to him, you gotta go through us."
Right. Right. You wanna get to him? You gotta go through us. I'm Spider-Man. And I'm Spider-Man. And I'm
"Oh, I'm
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
He's just
He's
a
just a
kid,
kid, no older
older than
than
my
my
son.
son."
Yeah. So they look at the license plate and see the Statue of Liberty and
Right.
decide
Right, it's so
we're going
silly.
to possess
Let's bring it to
Statue
life.
of
Let's
Liberty.
let's jumpstart and drive the Statue of Liberty using our now positively charged goop ooze slime.
So they install speakers all throughout the Statue of Liberty.
Mhm.
They
Bill
spray
Murray
goop.
has another great joke.
Oh, it's the best
Says,
joke in the
how
movie.
many national monuments here tonight? Oh, how you doing?"
He says, "Put
It's
your
like,
hand
"Are
up
there
if
any
you're a
national
national
monuments here?
monument
Raise your
here
hand."
tonight." Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
like, "Oh, how
young
you
lady
doing,
there, how
man?"
you doing?
So
It's
dumb.
my favorite line in the whole movie. But anyway, so they spray down the entire inside of the Statue of Liberty with slime. It really probably would
Mhm.
have been
Good
cooler,
slime though.
right?
This is the good ecstasy
It really
slime.
probably would have
This
been
is the this
better
wait.
had they done
This
it
is
on
the
the
busting
outside.
that makes them feel good.
Right. I
Well,
feel
no,
like
because
it would have
they put the
looked cooler had they done it on the
oh,
outside.
definitely.
But
Yeah.
maybe it would
But
have
I
looked
also get
I
it.
get it.
They want just the normal Statue of Liberty. And
It already
they
yeah,
put the slime inside the toaster, not
right,
outside
right.
it.
So they
So
they
it's
spray down the inside with
consistent.
the slime, they put speakers inside of it, and then somehow connect a Nintendo NES controller to
I,
it. It doesn't make any sense. Like they've like taken apart an NES
they
controller and like plugged it into
mhm,
the slime somehow. It doesn't make any sense. Don't question it
no.
because now
They're driving the
and
Statue of
also
Liberty. They're
when they
whipping it.
start the music,
When they start it,
the
the
flame
flame lights
explodes
up.
and it turns into
It's
real
awesome. It's
fire.
like
And
yeah.
it articulates. It's not like the toaster where it just bounces. Like it
Right. No, it
walks.
walks. It is the Statue of Liberty is walking like Godzilla through the water and then through the city.
It makes no
It's great.
sense. And also
It's Kaiju Statue of Liberty. That's how this
the
movie ends.
the set looks horrible. When it cuts to like a back shot of the Ghostbusters looking out, you can see that
Right.
it's just like foam. You can see that it's just
Mhm.
like cheap foam that they've like butted up together with staples. They didn't even
Right.
bother to paint it except for the outside that they painted green. But then
Uh,
you see the actual Statue of Liberty
you see Statue
walking
of Liberty's
down
foot, like,
Times
yeah,
Square or whatever,
crushing a cop car or
and
whatever.
it's one of the coolest kaiju effects I've ever seen.
Yeah,
You
especially for
or
1989
90, depending on who
or 90, right?
you um, no, it's so good. Like, it's such
So
a
good.
solid effect. It's perfectly sold. It
Mm,
holds up even in an age of, like, today where it would be all CGI. Even at the best
right.
CGI I've ever seen, this looks flawless.
Yeah, it's great.
Um, but yeah, so they walk up to the museum. The Statue of Liberty breaks the top of the museum. They come in, they spray everybody down with the good ooze, and they save the day. The ending, I think, is a
Yep, the
little
good goop 'em.
anticlimactic.
Yeah, it is pretty quick. Although we get he
There's
pops
no,
out.
like,
There's a little
fight, there's no.
there's barely any legitimate tension. He wraps up Sigourney Weaver in some like fucking tubes and then goes for the baby, but then they just
Well, they win, but then they
oh
wanted us to
Ray
see the bad guy, so he comes back. It's like, "Oh, we
right.
won. Now we gotta win again
But now
5 minutes
now he can just materialize
later."
normally.
Right. Yeah, and
Um
it's not my favorite intermediate.
there was a great horrible shot of the baby with his face like superimposed
Right.
over
Yeah,
it.
that one was
Looked
horrible.
awful.
But yeah, so they
It
defeat the
was
bad
great.
guy, and if you're wondering, like, "Oh, well, how did they defeat the
Ray
bad guy?"
turns into a demon for a little bit, but then
Right.
they just hit him with the good ecstasy ooze, and he's fine. They do the same to Josh Wiseau, and he's fine. Um,
Yeah, and that's really it.
and
They just squirt him with the
just
ooze,
sort
and then the
of ends.
painting turns into a painting of the 4 of them holding the
Oh
baby.
yeah, it's like a like just a yeah
Real odd.
yeah.
It's a real weird
It
effect.
does not make any sense,
No.
but
But then the movie ends. Like,
who
literally, they
cares?
walk out of the museum and the credits start rolling, and it's
Mhm.
over.
Oh, we forgot about the real schlocky Spider-Man to New York coming together is all of them singing
Oh,
at New
Auld Lang
Year's
Syne to
Eve.
turn the goop good. I
Yes,
forgot about
which
that.
makes the goop good, and that's what really defeats the bad guy
And
because he starts like tweaking and
I kinda like that.
no, it was fun. It was
It
yeah, I
was
mean it's
nice that it was
you
New
mess
Year's
with
Eve
one of
because
us, you mess with all of
that's a
us,
callback, right? So that's a callback to earlier in the
right?
movie. It's New Year's Eve. Like, all of it's the one time of year where New York actually comes together to do something productive,
Right.
and they do it, and by singing "Auld Lang Syne" outside of this museum, it turns the goop good. It positively charges the goop,
Mhm.
and that's super fun, and the bad guy's destroyed.
Oh, Rick Moranis, he pops on a Ghostbusters uniform and some earmuffs and he pulls up and shoots it from the outside and he's there,
Right.
you know.
He is there.
He smooches the
Right,
secretary
they're in love now.
also. Yeah.
Rick Moranis has retired from acting, hasn't he?
Probably,
Or
yeah.
he's dead, I don't know.
I don't think he's dead. I think he just
Could be,
retired like
though, you
many
never
years
know.
ago. Maybe. I mean, I'll look it up then
That's
I will
that's
know.
at least the plot of
Yeah,
Ghostbusters
70
II.
years
So
old.
there's a lot really to unpack with this movie because this movie has a notorious history. It's pretty widely hated. People don't really like Ghostbusters 2. It's a lackluster sequel. It's not as good as the first one. Yada yada.
Right. I guess I'd never heard of people not like. I'd never really heard anything about this movie, but
They this movie gets Ghostbusters. And of course it does because it's made by the guys who invented Ghostbusters.
correct.
They're not good at their job, and that's what makes these movies good. The plot of this movie is really dumb, especially compared to the first one, which is really kind of well thought out, scientific, like whatever.
Sort of, yeah.
The first one, for as outlandish of an idea as it is, feels moderately realistic. Like, it feels like if ghosts happened to just, we found out one day ghosts were real, this feels like exactly what would happen in New York City.
Right,
This
right.
one loses a lot of that. But what it has is it's got these 4 actors who are really talented and who are really funny. These 4 hilarious comedians, or really 3 comedians in Winston, but he's pretty funny too.
Right. But
He's the straight guy.
he's got
You have to have a
flaws
straight
in his
guy.
yeah. Mhm.
It's got these 4 super talented, perfectly cast, perfectly executed comedians not missing a beat from what they did in the first movie.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
No, genuinely, it's
it's gotta
they
be
are
commended.
completely on it.
We were talking about it, and it could just be because we're imbeciles and we're little tiny
Like
brain
we have little stupid children brain
right.
for
And
sure.
it for sure could be that, without a doubt.
And it definitely it is for undoubtedly a little bit of that because this movie is no doubt dumber, both in the comedy and the
Yeah,
plot
it's
than the first
dumber, it's
movie.
more juvenile,
Mm-hmm.
it's more just like, "Oh, ho, 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 I'm a," you know.
Which makes sense now that you told me that the cartoon was between these two movies
Right,
because they're trying to, the cartoon was super popular, whatever. They're trying to go off of that.
right. But
I
it's
get it.
still one of the funniest movies I've seen in
It's
a
great.
long
It's
time.
fucking
These 2
hilarious.
movies, and once again, I saw these as a kid, so to me, it was just spectacle, and it was proton packs, and it
Hmm.
was the car, and it was
Right.
building, and whatever, and the Buster makes them feel good, and the song.
Right. It was like, oh, it's like, oh, these guys are like superheroes, but they're like they're just guys. It's so cool. Yeah, they're superheroes, but they're just guys. Like I'm just a dude, but they're superheroes.
Um,
Yeah, it's
but this
great.
one is not like these movies are funny, and that's
Hmm.
primarily my main takeaway watching these again as an adult. These movies are hilarious. These
Yeah,
first
no,
2
like
movies are
they're not just funny;
so
they are
funny.
hilarious. These movies are so much funnier watching them as an adult than I ever think they were, or the first one was, and maybe if I saw a part of this one as a kid was as a
And this
child.
one might be funnier.
It
It's
could
way
be,
dumber, but
yeah.
it might be
Or
funnier.
we're just dumber.
Right.
Who
Or
knows?
maybe our
Who's to say?
expectations were lowered going in. I don't know what it was, but this one
Could
felt
also
funnier
be.
watching it this time. And the plot might be stupid. And it is,
Hmm.
but there's some pluses to
Look,
that.
I might be stupid.
Right. But I'm not dumb.
Well,
But I'm not an idiot.
yeah, yeah,
Right. Exactly.
yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like
So yeah, that's
Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters
Do
2.
you think this movie holds up?
Yes, yeah.
I'm gonna say yes. Once again, I think this
For
movie
the most
might even be
part,
ahead of its time.
a little bit, yeah.
Had
I would say
this
for the
very
most, I mean
version of
the
Ghostbusters been released as a Ghostbusters requel 5 years ago,
mm,
instead of the original sequel to Ghostbusters, I think this is, like, regarded as one of the best requels of all time. Now, it's not a requel,
uh,
it's a direct sequel, but
right. No, I get what you mean though, because yeah, we talked
This
about
is
this
this
while
is Jurassic
recording. It does,
World levels of a great
yes, yeah.
return to what originally happened. It's not nearly as good as the original, but because that's the
But
requel
it's just
thing.
it's got that, yeah,
That's the requel
it
thing.
brings
It's not
something new and
nearly as good,
interesting.
but
But it's new and it's different while being the same stuff that you know
right,
and
and it's a
love.
little nostalgia baity and everything. But I
It's
think this movie's
nostalgia
ahead of its
baity and
time.
it's
I legitimately
yeah.
think had this movie come out, if it had not even that, had modern audiences in the way we've become accustomed to viewing movies, had that been the original audience of this movie, I think it would have been very positively received.
Maybe, yeah.
I think from a modern perspective, this is great. It's not perfect.
Sure.
The first one might be a perfect movie. We talked about that last week, and that's really what hurts it.
Mm,
This one's far from perfect, but it's still really good.
right.
So in my mind, it holds up.
No, I'd say it definitely holds up.
I'll,
The only thing maybe is I mean the plot is stupid, but it's Ghostbusters, you
the
know.
plot is stupid. Coming off
But I mean,
the movie that
every
handles
base.
a
I mean,
stupid
they're
plot well, and this one not
right.
handling a stupid plot as well, I get it.
But yeah, but I mean, it's got the same great comedic dynamic.
And it's so snappy. The humor is so
It's
perfectly
so
snappy.
snappy. They're just so quick. They're so on it. They're with it. Yes, it's true. This man doesn't have a penis.
Right, right. At least that's what I've heard.
Now, that's what I've heard, at least.
Um, yeah,
uh,
I mean, I think I can probably speak for both of us. I will be watching this movie again.
oh, for
Next time
sure.
I'm in a
Yeah.
Ghostbusters mood, I will not be
Mm,
skipping this one like I have in the past.
right.
Yeah. What was the last one? Will you watch this movie
Rec-
again?
recommend it.
I don't think
Is that
so.
one? Is that one we do?
I don't think so. Who cares? Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? Let's just wrap this thing up.
It's a good movie. See the movie Ghostbusters 2. It's on Tubi or Max or who fucking
I
cares?
don't know where the Ghostbusters movies are streaming. I own a Blu-ray.
Paramount Plus?
I own a
No,
Blu-ray
I
of it
don't.
that we watched together.
Get a fucking burn a DVD. Except don't do that. That's illegal. That's we're not advocating for that.
Right.
We watch movies legally here.
Right. Email somebody the MKV file of this film.
but only if you legally own that. Otherwise, it's piracy, which we
Who
don't advocate
owns an
for.
MKV file?
I don't know, dude. I don't even know if that's possible, dude. I don't know how copyright works, bro. I don't want the feds on my ass, bro. Shit.
Yeah. Send this. If you got this far, first of all, thank you. You're the first person ever to
Yeah,
watch
you a real
one of
one.
these.
Comment down below. I'm a real one.
I'm a real one. I got all the way through. Thank you for watching Ghostbusters 2. Next week, we're going to be watching Ghostbusters 2016. Subscribe to the Patreon. The link is in the description if you want to.
$1, single dollar.
If you want to watch along to this movie with us.
That's less than a soda. That's less than a bag of chips.
Right.
Dude, you can't get in this economy. There is nothing you can get for a single dollar.
That's true. Go ahead and subscribe to the Patreon if you'd like to watch along to these movies with us. That's all I got. Daniel, any final words for the friends at home?
I'm gonna go with send this to.
Oh, we're still doing this.
I'm doing another send it to. Yeah, just in case if anyone's made it this far, I think they should send it to.
Uganda.
It's like go on if you have Snapchat, go on Snapchat and just click somewhere on the map and add like whatever the first thing that pops up, add that person, send it to them. Maybe go on like Instagram or Facebook and just try and like find like some random person. Maybe they're like a mutual friend. Maybe it's just like you just click on a random hashtag and just scroll through it till you see someone who looks chill, someone who looks like they like Ghostbusters
try to
2.
Find somebody from a different country than you. We're trying to go global.
Well, yes, yeah. We're going international. Yeah, send it to someone in South Korea. They like our podcast there. They
like Godzilla.
They do. They got their own Godzilla.
That's true. Young Gary. All right, we'll see you guys next time next week as we watch Ghostbusters 2016. Thank you guys so much. This has been Semi Pro Film Show. We'll see you then.
Yeah.